Look at what progress we've made. You let me pet you now, huh? Isn't that incredible? Just a video or two ago, it didn't go this way. See? Well, good day again, everybody. It's the 23rd of September 2023, and it's almost 1 o'clock, and I'm in Minsk. This time I got off on the Proletarsky metro stop. It's not really a popular stop, and of course today is, well, it doesn't look like rain. It's overcast, of course. It's a good contrast to all the other days when it was sunny all this time. But look over here, we have, it's a hotel that says Willing. Willing. Well, behind me, that's a shopping mall. This is a park on this side. The busy road. Looks like probably a body of water over this way, maybe a lake. I'll walk in that direction to find out what's going on there. And yeah, kind of I've been preoccupied lately. Like I say, I'm working on some sort of a project that I told I'm not really supposed to be talking about so much. I don't know why. Nothing real big, but you'll find out probably, I think, I hope. We'll see how things work out. And then there's another project. Of course, it won't be started, I suspect, maybe until November. And I don't know, maybe late October, you know. And I wasn't sworn to secrecy, so, you know, I still don't want to get into it because it's somebody else starting the project. Another English-speaking person that came here to Belarus, and, you know, I don't want to be talking about that. So, but anyway, it's going to be something to do with also putting out the truth. Let's just say that. Yes, I thought it was a body of water. Look, it's a river here. It looks like a very nice walk. I'll tell you what, I've been to this metro stop before and walked along on that street. I had no idea that there's a river here. So anyway, I have some news. It's not that much. A lot of things happening, of course, and we all know about what's going on with Russell Brand. Gosh, they are, you know, it just shows how desperate they are. And last video I had that little short clip of Anthony Blinken, and that might have been why I think the quality was a little bit low, because I started off with that and I saw that video. I normally don't watch my own videos. I don't like seeing myself, but that video part was very clear, and then the rest of my part was, of course, lower quality. So I really don't know. You know, maybe it's something to do what YouTube does. Oh, how am I going to get through here? They're going to get me. So anyway, everybody's probably heard what Lukashenko said lately. He said something very similar before. What he was saying before was that, in his opinion, Zelensky is going to meet a bad end. He is going to, he didn't say he's going to get killed or anything like that, but I think he was saying something like he will have a very bad legacy, you know. And Lukashenko was saying that while everybody wanted to, you know, fall at Zelensky's knees and kiss his feet and his hands and all that, and then you saw that meeting in Vilnius. Everybody was kind of shying away from him, and somebody made that photo with him in a mop in his hand and a janitor bucket there, you know, with, you know, a sour look on Zelensky's face. But you know, the part that I don't really appreciate about Zelensky is, well, he got elected, you know, on a platform of reconciliation, you know, with the Russian-speaking part of Ukraine, and then apparently he was taken over. He was taken over probably by the Ukrainian Nazis as well as the West. And of course, as you know, the United States and Great Britain, maybe even more than the United States, they have had this insatiable lust to destroy Russia, you know, and maybe it's not personal, maybe part of the time it is, you know, so it's mostly to get Russia's resources. And well, as a result, you know, at least they make people think, maybe they even feel that way themselves, that they have a seething deep hatred of Russia. And of course, if you go back in history, like I studied history, and I wasn't studying the history of Russia, I studied very much like the history of Germany, and I noticed even back then the elites of Europe, Germany, of course, at that time, they had a hatred of Russia too. They've always had a hatred of Russia, Europe has. Even when they act like they're Russia's friend, they have a hatred of Russia. And I've also mentioned, you know, how it's very strange. You know, like I have a cat that has orange eyes. It was very much like my old cat. It was, you know, stripes, and it was called, that variety of cat was a American Shorthair. And the coat on the cat that I got while I was over here looked very much like that coat, you know, stripes and all that. I think I've had short pictures of that cat on this site. But the cat, you know, of course, had different features. It had little tufts on the ends of its ears, sort of like a Maine Coon, but not quite so big. And it had like bushy, you know, like a lion on the sides, and it was stout, very, very stout, and orange eyes, you know, and some of these traits. And my mother-in-law was looking on the internet and found a category of cats that looked just like this, you know, most of the time with orange eyes, and it turns out it's called a Russian forest cat. And then you have British cats, you know, that have, I don't know if you call it silver or gray fur, that have orange eyes. And of course, they have Russian cats that are that color, and they have orange eyes. So obviously the British got those cats from the Russians, because the Russians have had those cats for hundreds of years, and then the British, you know, brought that type of cat to Great Britain, just like they took the crown of Catherine the Great, and at present it belongs to, you know, the royal jewels of Great Britain. So much of what Britain has, it comes from Russia. And of course, King George, at the time of the last kings of Europe, was related to Kaiser Wilhelm as well as the Tsar Nicholas. I think they were all cousins together. You know, they grew up to a large extent with each other. And then, of course, there was Kaiser Wilhelm, and he was in correspondence. In those days, they didn't have internet, so if you didn't know. And he was in correspondence, of course, with Nicholas of Russia, the Tsar of Russia, and they call it the Willy-Nicky letters. I don't know anymore, I've forgotten what they contain, but anyway, that was some kind of a, you know, very important correspondence, very much like the Federalist Papers. I think that was Madison and Thomas Jefferson, and I guess you get a lot of inklings of what American history is all about by reading the Federalist Papers, very much like the Willy-Nicky letters of that time, that period of history of Russia, of Europe. So maybe if you really want to get into studying Europe, I guess you'll have to be looking into the Willy-Nicky letters. So anyway, that's I guess I'm going to make this video a little bit longer. I wasn't planning on talking about anything like that. But in any case, we see how much the world has changed. But a little bit about this project that I'm hopefully going to get involved. This tremendous guy that's going to start this project over here. It's showing you, and even the other project, it's going to show you how much journalism has changed. And you look at Russell Brand and so many others, and look at YouTube. Look at how that is run. You can't talk about this, you can't talk about that, you're going to get censored. And I saw something with Candace Owens yesterday, and she hasn't been putting out any videos on YouTube. Actually, she was censored for 2 weeks. You know, when you get censored for 2 weeks, that means you have a double no-no. You know, 1 week is a no-no and 2 weeks is a double no-no. And if you get censored again, you're gone. You're gone. I think it is permanent. So I had my double no-no, of course, a little while ago. You know, YouTube jail for talking about things that they don't want you to talk about. Of course, that's what we call the freedom of speech in America now. And well, journalism has changed quite a bit. There, of course, are kind of certain things you can't say here, but there's a lot of things you can talk as much as you want about the rest of the world here. And you can even complain. You can complain about the government. You can complain about things that they do. But when you start talking about things that are inciting people to overthrow the government, that's not allowed in Belarus. That's not allowed, and you can understand why. In a sense, it's not allowed in the United States or anywhere else either. But, you know, the difference is that over here, we do not have the world's reserve currency. The United States holds the world's reserve currency. And in truth, the United States, they can put an unlimited amount of money into the media system. We're talking about social media or anything. So if Belarus, for example, wants to put out anything, you know, any news that Belarus wants to put out or things they want to say, it's almost, like I said, like a fart in a hurricane. It doesn't stand much of a chance. But the United States, you know, they can dominate all the airwaves. And of course, they do have mechanisms to do this. They have mechanisms in the health department going through the World Health Organization. And it's put out what you are to say. They tell all the stations. And you know that very well if you saw any of the broadcasts from Tucker Carlson. They are told what to say. ABC, NBC, CBS. You could probably even go to the BBC or any of these things. They're all told what to say. They are told what the narrative is, and that's what they put out. You know, and if you put out something different on YouTube, and if you become popular, like Russell Brand, your days are numbered. That's very simple. Anybody that has a working brain can figure that one out by now. And of course, like I said, in Belarus here, they do not control the world's reserve currency. And I'll tell you what, if this country went, I don't know, I can't say balls to the walls, so I won't say that. If this country wanted to go full bore into freedom of speech, which I highly suspect the government really, really would want to do, if they try to do that in this country, can you imagine what some entity that wants to take over Belarus is going to do? They're going to put billions into controlling the entire narrative. And anything that's put out here is going to be drowned. It's going to be drowned to the bottom of the ocean, and a different narrative is going to be put out. And of course, partly that's what has happened already to a large extent at various times in Belarus. The government here has been trying to open up, but, you know, the more they do, the more they get, somebody holds their head underwater. They're trying to drown them, of course. So, you know, you have to understand that. They'll use the media, the outside, not Belarus, the outside will use the media against Belarus, their overpowering wealth, to control the entire narrative here. It's already, for a large extent, happened in the West. Luckily, there are enough voices. When you can look on the internet, you can find people like myself, or of course so many others that do a much better job than I do, like on the Duran or Russell Brand, for example. And of course, you can find the truth there. And look at what happened, like I said, with Anthony Blinken. I just put that out in my last video. They can take the truth and twist it to where you will believe the exact opposite of what the truth really is. Russia's, what is he? I don't know, what is he? Russia's at an end. They're losing militarily. They're losing diplomatically. They're losing everything. They're losing economically. And the exact opposite is the truth. And he puts out some examples that makes it sound as if it's actually true, what Blinken is saying. But when you know it isn't true, it just doesn't hold water. It's incredible. It is so incredible how people's minds can so easily be controlled. But anyway, that's all I want to say about that. What else do I want to say here? I want to talk, The leader of the Central African Republic said that the West has been triggering a migrant crisis by pillaging Africa's natural resources through slavery and colonization. He said these young people who symbolize the present and the future of our continent are desperately seeking to join the countries of the European continent in search of an El Dorado. This leader was Faustin Archangel Truadera. So he's talking about the same thing, that these people are made to believe that when they go to Europe, they're going to be drowning in gold and riches. And I've heard that for so much of my adult life. I remember, back when people like, one example, this is just one example, people from Romania were told that when they go to France, when they go to the West, they will be given a car and a free apartment. They were told that. They're given money, a car, free apartment. A lot of these, there was a movement at that time, I think, when was that, in the 90s, in Germany, when they had something called the Außenseiter. That was a part of Russia that used to be a part of Germany, at the end of before the end of World War II. And of course things were changed then. So Germany was, so to speak, repatriating them, saying they can all come back to Germany. And they were told the same thing. As a matter of fact, in Germany, a lot of time they did get those things. They did get a car. Well, they didn't get a car. They got an apartment. They got a free apartment and money every month. And of course, the regular Germans weren't too crazy about that. And of course, that kind of dried up a little bit too. But everybody was told that. If you're from Romania or anywhere, then they found out that that wasn't true. Africans were told that. I can go into a lot of what was going on in those days. Maybe they were seeking to get people to come. It's very strange, very strange. So, Poland has more than tripled the amount of fertilizer that they are getting from Russia. Isn't that strange? They were one of the countries leading the charge to stop getting anything from Russia. We've got to destroy the economy, make it go into tatters, I tell you, as Alex Cristoforo would say. And now, like I said, it's tripled. The import last year was of fertilizer was 6.2 million. And this year, they measured it up to July of last year. So now, up to July of this year, the year following that, it's 20.2 million US dollars worth of imports of fertilizer. But on this site that I was leading in this information, it's all kind of twisted and weird, but all of the numbers in any case show that it's an increase in importation of fertilizers. And of course, as you know, oil as well. And when the Nord Stream was blown up by the United States, the next day or 2 days later or 1 week later, it was the opening of the pipeline from Norway to Poland. And we all saw that there was a tweet from one of the people, higher politicians in Poland, saying "Thank you, USA," and showing a photograph of the surface of the ocean after the pipelines were blown up. So what that was is saying thank you for blowing up the pipeline. And then Poland, they probably thought they were going to get rich because then they had the pipeline coming from Norway. And of course, the gas costs far more. It's probably quadruple what Russia was charging. So good luck on that one. And I think Poland is still importing maybe gas and oil from Russia. Well, anything that we hear is not exactly as we're reading or as we're finding out or as they tell us. And things can change mighty quick. They put some news out and say, this is the state of the world right now, but wait a month, wait 2 months, and you find out it's different. Provided that what they tell you in the first place is true. Like all these firms have left Russia. And Jackson Hinkle is over in Russia right now, and he's finding out Burger King and KFC, everything is still over there. There's very few firms that actually left. So, and a lot of things that did stop doing business with Russia, well, instead of the things going directly to Russia, it's shipped to one country and then then shipped right into Russia from over a different border, and the price went up a little bit for the Russians, but anyway, it's still getting there. So, Poland seems to continue to have an appetite for Russian fertilizers. I think their chief supplier of fertilizer is Germany, and just below that, I think it's 22 million, and Russia supplies 20.2 million. So, and strangely enough, Belarus has fertilizer, and we're right next door to Poland, but they don't get any fertilizer from Belarus. So, you know, they have plans of occupying, taking over Belarus, and they've of course came out and said that they want to take Belarus. They want to militarily attack Belarus. They've said that. Isn't that incredible? And yet they talk about Belarus aggression because they have Wagner here. And of course, in any case, Russia is the #1 world's exporter of fertilizer. Russia is the #1 world exporter of wheat. Russia is the #1 world producer, exporter of oil and probably gas as well. But yet, Russia is a gas station, only a gas station with nuclear bombs disguised as a country. Russia leads in a lot of other ways as well. That's not all. And the things that they're not #1 in, maybe they are #2 or #3 in. And what is it? Russia's economy, not too long ago, has now taken over Germany's place as one of the world's leading economies. And they're very close to taking over the spot of Japan. So Russia, I think, what is it? They're very close to being either what is it? I think it's #4, the #4 economy in the world. But yet they're just a gas station disguised as a country. Isn't that incredible? A gas station with nuclear bombs disguised as a country. So, could have fooled me. Could have fooled me. So, in any case, that's about all I have to say. Let me just show you over here across this. Looks very nice too. That looks like some sort of a hotel over there. And of course, a nice place to walk as well. Do you see how ugly and how miserable it is here in Belarus? Do you know, as they tell you? Look at everything is run down. Everybody is sad. They're working all the time, enslaving, and of course, yes, it is so bad here. The strange thing is, they tell the Belarusians that, and they have got brainwashing down to such an art that a lot of times the Belarusians even believe it themselves. They believe they're living in misery. And I personally have heard it. A Belarusian will show you some stone. They'll tell you, for example, they'll come over here. And here's there used to be a tree here. They say, look at this. Look, oh, they don't have this in the West. Look at that. Look at how bad it is. Gosh, you can't even believe that. What the heck is this? I don't know. I guess some kind of a barnacle? Look at, there's more. Well, anyway, it's Belarus, for you foreigners, Belarus is not what they tell you it is. For you Belarusians, Belarus is not what they tell you it is. That's an incredible statement. It's, to me, it's just incredible. How, what is this called? I don't know, is that called cognitive dissonance? It is hypnotizing you. If you've ever heard that phrase before, and I believe what that means is they hypnotize you and tell you that the nose on your face is not really there. The nose on your face is actually, it's gone, and it's your nose is over there. So it's how I always looked at this term cognitive dissonance is to hypnotize you when you're 100% conscious. It's incredible. It just blows my mind. I mean, and it can happen to all of us, myself included. Just because I'm talking about it doesn't mean that I'm not susceptible to it. So that's the point I want to make. And so this video shouldn't be that long. I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to download this. This is on a little camera, a little DJI-2, and I'm trying to put it on my cell phone and then add it up onto YouTube. And for some odd reason, it's not really working too well. I got to do it many, many, many times before it actually works. I guess the secret is to get a much better cell phone, and I could go buy one, but I don't want to spend that money on a very good phone at this point in time, because you never know when you're going to need some of your savings for something else. Savings, of course, have dwindled down since I've been here. I should be working very soon, it looks like, but it's not like a real full-time job. I'm going to be taking Russian classes starting the 1st of October, so that's going to be taking some time. But we'll see what happens here, but it might be imperative that I get a better phone, and maybe I can record directly onto the phone and don't have to worry about making some sort of a transferring data. I'm not your tech genius, so anyway, instead of extending this video even longer, I guess I'll make it come to an end now. And I appreciate you joining me, and I hope that I can bring more content in the future that you are actually wanting to see, something informative. We'll see. Okay then. So have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.